News from the world of sports.
All right. Well, the NBA, like we were saying, may release today a new set of draft lottery system. All right. And G Mike, I'm going to take a second here and read a bunch of this because it's a lot to unpack. So just give me one second.
Give the news for the people. Give the news for the people.
All right, so we got the 3-2-1 draft lottery system. All right, so the way this is going to work is the bottom three teams receive 2 lottery balls and cannot pick lower than 5th. 4 through 10, the worst, receive 3 lottery balls. The play-in seeds, the 9 and 10, will receive 2 lottery balls. Play-in losers, the 7-8, will receive 1 lottery ball. Here's some other rules that they're trying to fix these things with this as well. Consecutive top pick bans. No matter what, you cannot pick number 1 overall and back-to-back drafts. You remember the Orlando Magic's done that. A couple people has happened, and it's not really panned out the way they wanted to. Next one, a consecutive top 5 ban. A team cannot land in the top 5 in 3 consecutive drafts. And the last one they have here is pick projections. Restrictions exist on placing projection picks between 12 and 15. Whew, that's a lot to unpack. G Mike, what's your thoughts on what they're trying to do, and do you agree or disagree with this, my friend?
I kind of disagree, right? And what they're trying to do is eliminate the whole tanking situation where teams are basically losing on purpose so they could try and get the number 1 pick. With this new anti-tanking rule, it's going to help that for sure because teams through 4 to 10 are going to have more of a chance, a 71% chance from Shams that he put it out on Twitter, that they would be able to get the number 1 pick, getting 3 lottery balls from those 4 to 10 seats. When it comes to the bottom 3 teams, they'll get 2 lottery balls where they have a 29% chance to get the number 1 pick, right? So the tanking issue, for sure, it's gonna get fixed. It's gonna get unwritten, right? But my problem is the teams that are going to be in the bottom 3 for the next year, if they don't get a number 1 pick or a top 5 pick and they end up getting out of the lottery round or room, you could say, they're going to remain sucky for the next year or the year after that or the year after that. And it's like, how are you going to level out the playing field or competition across the league if you have this going on, right? I don't know what they need to do. I have no answers for the anti-tanking. I feel like the most egregious thing that they should come up with is giving these teams fines, but then you got to go through a huge investigation to see if they're actually doing it on purpose or if they're taking out players because they're actually hurt or they just want to sit them because of load management or because they want to tank. Who knows, right? But let's say you slap them with $1 million fine. I'm sure they're going to stop. I'm sure teams are going to stop tanking, but you're never going to really know. Like I said, you got to do a whole investigation on it. So it's tough, man. I don't know the answer to it. I think this helps the anti-tanking rules for sure, but is it the right answer? Is it the correct answer for the future? I don't think so.
Yeah, the other thing that's going to be hard about this as well is that I'm sure the league's going to be starting getting annoyed because the teams that are already really good right now, let's go OKC, San Antonio, they did this and they are reaping the benefit of doing this. You know what I'm saying? So how are you going to all of a sudden say, well, beyond this point, it's worked for them, but don't do that. Like, we need you to play harder and maybe not be good. But hey, these guys had already done this. They're going to be okay and dominate the league. So it's really tough to say. They need to come up with something, obviously. I never thought in a day and age that you would have to actually make a rule about tanking, you know? The other problem with this is I was listening to a couple other ESPN guys or just different, I forgot what station it was, but they're talking about too, it's a proven thing that it does work, tanking. The problem with it is that it's just not good for the league. But in reality, it is good for the teams. That's the only way that it ends up working out. Being in the NBA, if you're mediocre, if you're halfway good enough to make the play-in, and you don't win the championship, that's pretty much where you're going to be for the next couple of years, and you have to hit on the draft picks. So it's kind of difficult to fix the situation because everybody knows it works to tank, and they had 10 teams trying to tank. I'm not really sure exactly why this year was the year to tank. They had like at least 10 teams going for it. I don't know if the draft class is that far and beyond like generational talent or something, but it was just blatantly obvious. And then you had situations where it was extremely obvious, where like ergo Bam Adebayo getting 80 points in the game and like just ridiculous stuff going on because they're trying to lose so bad. If that's the case, then why are they going to play the game? Just throw in the towel and say we forfeit or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to just do that, I know that isn't the answer, but like, it's gotten ridiculous because there's been some performances that get put up because these teams are so bad. It doesn't make any sense to me. So I do like that they're trying to do something and they realize that there is an issue, but the other issue is that it works to tank.
Yeah, and you're never gonna fix the issue too. In my eyes, I think it's never gonna be something that's gonna be like, yo, this is going to be the solution to the problem when it comes to tanking. I don't think there's ever gonna be a solution in any professional sports league, really. If once a team go, especially in the NBA, when you got 82 games, you go through 30 games, 40 games, you can already tell the writings on the wall on what team is going to be trash and what team is going to be nice and what team is going to be a contender. And at that point, teams start making decisions like, all right, cool. You know, we're going to go for it all. We're going to go for this NBA finals appearance and go for the championship. Well, we're going to go for the playoffs, maybe make the play in and hopefully get in the playoffs. And well, actually, we're not going to do anything. So might as well sit out players, act like they're injured and try to tank for a number one pick. I don't think it's ever going to get fixed, bro.
And good luck trying to prove that they're not hurt because the Player Association is going to be all over that you can't force somebody out there because on the off chance they actually are hurt or mildly hurt. You know, it got to the point sometime last season or this season, excuse me, to where there was only a couple of meaningful games actually being played and that's bad for a product that's on almost every other night or every night. So, that's definitely a major issue, and I appreciate them trying to come up with something. I mean, we've talked about it in the past as well. Why not putting more emphasis on the NBA Cup? Maybe you get more lottery balls going that way if you're worried about the draft, winning the NBA Cup or something. I don't know if that's the answer. Like we were saying before, neither one of us can really give you the exact answer at the moment. Besides the fact that they need to come up with something, but I feel like that there's going to find ways around what is going on. These coaches, GMs, all these guys aren't idiots. They know how they got in this position for a reason. They know what they're doing, and they also know the fact of the higher the pick, the better it is. The lower the pick, excuse me, for like number one, number two, the better it is that they're actually going to be able to do something to help out. And that's what's different. I feel like with basketball than damn near any other sport is one guy really can make a difference. In a draft, like you can go from last to first, no problem with one guy. NFL, it takes more of a team. Just because the Raiders drafted Mendoza number one overall isn't like they're all of a sudden Super Bowl favorites now. You can legitimately, here it goes San Antonio, you get Victor Wembanyama, and their entire trajectory of the next decade is completely different now. So the NBA is one of the few sports that really does matter with the tanking. The other ones, you build, and it'll eventually, but NBA, you get two good drafts and you're back in it, or even one in the same draft. You know, ergo Dallas had Luka Doncic and Jalen Brunson in one draft. You know, so it's just crazy how that can work. And the NBA is definitely something like that. And I think what they're also trying to do is alleviate what the Oklahoma City Thunder have done, which they didn't do anything illegal or cheating or anything. They just happen to have smart people running the organizations. Same thing with San Antonio I feel like that's one of the main two focuses because OKC, no matter if they win the championship or not, still have a bunch of early draft picks that are going to keep them consecutive for the next decade or so. And the same thing with San Antonio. So I think if you're going to do it, you have to hit on the picks for this actually to work. Otherwise, you're wasting everybody's time.
Yeah, man. Again, I don't think it's ever going to get fixed, but if they're just trying to fix the tanking right now, the tanking situation, this does go in the right direction, but then it just creates more problems in other places. Like teams are going to still suck if they don't get the number one pick when they're the worst team in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I can yes and no. I mean, because there has been times where you got guys that are good in the later rounds. You know, so I mean, like just because you get number one doesn't always mean that's going to work. I mean, Luka went late. I think he was like 6. You know, I mean, you can go down the list. Draymond Green was second round pick. Jalen Brunson was the second round pick. You know, so I think it just really comes down to knowing what you need in the system. Dylan Harper wasn't the number one overall pick, and he's been playing lights out, playing like a 10-year vet in the last couple of games or so. You know, so I think it just comes down to you have to have the right people in charge that know what your team needs. And so that's why I think what the solution is that get people in that know what they're doing. That might fix the situation whenever, because of, they're trying to limit your picks. So make the picks count.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, most of these owners, they don't really know basketball 101. They might be a fan, they watch the game, and they know, a travel, double dribble, a shot, 3-point shot, dunk, layup. They know the basics for sure. But when it comes to the X's and O's, a lot of them don't really know. So you got to hire some good basketball minds for president of basketball operations, GM, head coach, assistant coach, and it goes down the list for sure. Those are the people who are going to help you get to where you want to be if you want to be a successful franchise, 100%. But if we really think about it, a lot of the players that are in the top 5 pick in each of the drafts in the last years, I'm sure, I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but I'm sure it's above 75% that them 5 included together in a group become successful for their teams.
Yeah, I mean, it also is one of those things, and if you have enough time, so let's see these guys develop, and that's where I think like the G League and stuff can really come in. Hell, I'll be completely honest with you, I feel like that if I was an up and coming player and my draft stock wasn't where I necessarily wanted to, I would go over to Europe and play in Europe for a year or two, because the way this style is translating to the NBA so much better than some of these star college players, and you're also playing with grown men at that point, too. A lot of these guys in like the G League are, they're just there. They never were going to make the league anyways or something. But I don't know. If I was somebody in that position, which I'm clearly not, but I would try to go play overseas if I was in one of those positions, if I didn't like my pick or anything where I was going to be at. But yeah, there's a lot to figure out with it. Do you like the rule that I saw in there of you cannot have consecutive top 5 picks, or is it 3? You can't have top 5 picks 3 times in a row. Do you like that, or you think that's a little too much?
Again, for the tanking, I understand. I'm not going to say I like it or dislike it. I understand it for the tanking. But it's like you can never have a top 5 pick in 3 consecutive years. Like, you really shouldn't. You shouldn't. You shouldn't be at the bottom 3 years in a row for the bottom 5 worst teams in the NBA. You shouldn't. It shouldn't be there. Like, your pride should take over. You should want to win. You should want to get into the playoffs, go far, go deep. Like, come on, bro. Like, it shouldn't be out here just trying to lose every single year. That shouldn't be your mindset. So I understand the rule for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree as well. And I agree with what you're saying by the aspect of, like, if you're doing this correctly, you shouldn't have to be consecutively tanking like that to consecutively be in that spot. So if it's not working, then you got to make your own changes sometimes. So I can agree with you on that one. The other one I wanted to touch base on a little bit on there was that they're extending it now from 14 to 16 for the lottery picks in there. Do you think that's good at adding more teams? Because I guess that makes it a little bit more challenging for the teams that are going to get the bottom, because now you're getting more odds of losing the pick in there. Do you like that rule?
I think you're giving an opportunity for the teams that are in the play-in or the 7th and 8th seed, and I don't really think those teams should get the opportunity for a number 1 pick, in my opinion. You're in the playoffs for a reason, because you're good. You don't need a top 5 pick. You just need some adjustments with either the coaching or the personnel or the way that you're playing basketball on the court. But I don't think you need a number 1 pick or even a top 5 pick. I think you just need maybe your trade away, a piece away, a coach away, or maybe a few X's and O's away. But I do not believe that you need a top 5 or the number 1 pick.
Yeah, I can get behind you on that one as well, and really, like we've been kind of mentioning as well, I think that you have to find fits. I feel like that especially now that they're going to kind of limit getting these picks right or something. So I think that you need to find the guy that actually fits your system. Like, what do you truly need? Do you need a big? Do you need a floor general? Like, you have to know your team. For instance, we'll be getting back into Oklahoma City. That Jared McCain trade that they made is turning out to be fantastic for them on a player that really wasn't doing much in Philadelphia. They looked at what they needed. Hey, we need a scorer. That's pretty much all we need, and that's exactly what he is. And he fits into what they've been doing or whatever. But we'll be definitely getting into Oklahoma City here in a few. But
I wanna allude to what you had said before, because I think it's a key component when it comes to sports. It's giving the team and the players time, right? You just alluded to Jared McCain and the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah.
They didn't give him no time. They traded him away after a year, and he was injured. They didn't even let him come back and play and show his dominance. Which I don't think he's an all-star player. I don't think he's an NBA player.
No, but he's a hell of a role player, though. He's a
hell of a role player, yes, and he's a good shooter for sure. I think if they would have had that, they would have gave the New York Knicks a little bit of a run, right? Maybe not getting swept, but even touching on the Knicks, right? Jalen Brunson signed with the New York Knicks 4 years ago. Time, bro. They went to the playoffs, lost in the second round. The next year, same thing, lost in the second round. Last year, lost in the Eastern Conference Finals to the Indiana Pacers. And now going to the NBA Finals. Time, bro. You got to give these teams and players time to develop and grow and get that chemistry together too. It's not going to be just, we're going to draft the next Victor Wembanyama, the next LeBron James, the next Michael Jordan, the next Kobe Bryant. That's not going to happen. You got to draft the players that you think are going to fit your system, like Steve is saying, and let the time develop and let them go out there and prove to you that they can win.